Well, hello everyone. I have right here a talk about for professional talent right here, and I'm sure that most of us have played a game of basketball before. I'm like, it could really be any sport, but you see right here, I'll talk about for professional talent. What exactly is professional talent? And you think as toward okay, yeah, it pretty much means talent, right? It pretty much means as toward that some of your teammates and your coach, they're all looking for a source of talent to where it would have enough the type of skill that it would provide the type of talent that you can give to the team, and that's pretty much what it means right here. Is that if you're going to be playing along with a few other players, with four other teammates, and let's just say that you would be practicing about the basic requirements for the skills, right? And so if we're talking about a game of basketball here, and you're one to know too that you see this right here, talking about with whenever it comes to players, and let's just say that I don't know how many rounds of the game that there would be, maybe about 5 or maybe 7 rounds altogether, where you would have 2 and 2, and then you would get into a group of 5 with 4 other players. But you see this right here. And I drew this right here of talk about for basketball right here. And you see this right here that this actually talks about right here of knowing about with the basketball players right here. And you're thinking as to where that whenever you play the game sport of basketball right here, that what you're basically are seeing right here is the type of sport whenever it comes to understanding about how to make the ball in the basket, or like everybody might say, is to where that you really know how to handle the ball right here. But still, that a lot of us will probably say that is it the actual purpose of the game of basketball is toward that you actually interact with your players, interact with your teammates right here. So it sure seems that way that we might think as toward okay, that if you're going to have a girl on a team and knowing about how well they play compared to the boys or something like that, but still it's like so whenever you're talking about the game of basketball here, that you're thinking that what we're basically looking for is how you handle with with the ball right here. So if we're talking about the game of basketball right here, you have right here is with the basketball right here, and I'll go ahead and use the paint tool right here so we can see this right here. But still that when we're talking about a game of basketball here, that you're thinking that okay, that we talk about the game of basketball here, and that for how you actually handle the ball right here. If you're going to be handling the ball in a type of way to where that you're thinking that, okay, that the way you handle the ball right here. But still, it's like the way you dribble the ball, and then the way that you look at the basket right there. But a lot of times that from whenever I used to play basketball, I actually would dribble the ball a couple of times, like everybody say that if you're going to be dribbling the basketball a couple of times, and at 102, that what's a good way of how to get a good angle at the basket, and knowing about just to be able to make that shot. And so a lot of players might even say that I thought maybe that the whole purpose about the game of basketball would be is just tossing, just throwing the ball up in the air and tossing it or something like that. And so a lot of us will probably say that, I thought maybe the whole purpose of the game of basketball was playing it that way, to where you would actually throw it, and considered to be an air ball, right? You would throw it in the air, and then, just to be able to make the basket. So it's like you have right here with the basketball right here, and you see this right here. I'll go and paint this right here but talking about whenever it comes to the game of basketball right here, that they have right here with the basketball right here. And yeah, that you got the basketball right here, but like you're thinking this tour, okay, yeah, if you get a good feeling of the ball right here, but like a lot of players might even say too that yeah, that the main purpose of the game for basketball would be is to where that you get a good handle for the ball, and knowing about how to keep how to rebound though, and then knowing about how to dribble the ball, and of course it's all about is to where that you would get into a good spot where you can go ahead and make the shot right there in the hoop right there. So whenever you think of the game of basketball, you got the shadow right here, but whenever you think of the game basketball though, it's like you're 102 that if somebody's going to ask you to where that if you would mind go ahead and make the shot right here in the hoop right there. So like in case if anybody's going to maybe ask you is to where that playing the game of basketball, we're talking about that's about at least 30 feet, something like that, from where the hoop is. You got the hoop right there from where the ball is going to go, just to be able to make that shot right there, make the basket right there. And so whenever we think about the game of basketball right here, and you're thinking this toward, okay, yeah, that from how well you play with the girl especially, and like everybody might say that the way you think about that in 102, that if you're going to be having anybody like such a teammate, and 102 that okay, yeah, that from how well you play with the other player, right? And so that's why it seems like that to where that when we talk about the game of basketball here, that we're also thinking is to where that for how many players that are considered girls compared to how many players that are going to be considered boys. But you see right here that you got these players right here, but it's like 102 that if you're going to play a game of basketball, and maybe if you have about maybe two players are girls, and maybe two of the players are going to be boys, and want to know that hey, that if you play a game of basketball right here, and they're going to ask you that do you think that you will be able to make that shot right there if you tried, and maybe if you go ahead and stand at an angle or something like that, or maybe that like for how you're positioned and all of that. And so whenever you think about the game of basketball, what's the first thing that your coach is maybe going to tell you about what's the best way of opportunity to be able, in order to be able to make the basket right there, just to be able to make that shot. And you're thinking that a lot of times is it all about that this is how you make the shot, that you take a good aim at the basket right there just to be able to make the shot. And so like a lot of times that like all players might even say that if it's really about the fact about how you rebound, how you hold the ball, and of course how you dribble the ball, or it's over the fact about for how you need to stand from the basket, just to be able to make the shot. And so that's why it seems like that when we do think of the game of basketball right here, and you want to know too that it seems pretty simple to just to go ahead and take a good aim right there, look at the basket and try to toss the ball in the mid-air, so that way you can go ahead and make the basket right there. But like everybody might say that when we talk about professional talent here, is that what exactly is it that the coach is necessarily looking for, that's something that you can do, that you can give to the team? And like everybody might say that, something that you can do, that you can give to the team, well, just think about that, for how well that you interact with the ball, right? And so that's why it seems like that, whenever you do think about that, and you're thinking that Okay, yeah. So whenever you think about the game of basketball here, that are you necessarily thinking about how you're holding the ball and maybe how you're interacting with the ball, such as that the ball is going to be, if you're going to be dribbling the basketball, like everybody say, that you dribble the basketball just like that, but you see how well the ball is moving, and then how the players willing to interact with the ball right there. And so that's why it seems like that, to where that whenever I think about that, and I'm thinking too that, yeah, that with the way you hold the ball and the way that you go ahead and look at the basket right here. So here is this basket right here, and the basketball hoop right there, and everybody might say that, yeah, that and isn't the main purpose about the game of basketball would be is to where that you take a good aim at the hoop right there. And you're thinking as toward, okay, yeah, that, how many yards would that be or so, but still, that, but they got the basketball right here, the basketball hoop, but, yeah, everybody might say that, if you would actually draw that right there in 102, that, somebody might say that, one way of how you'll be able to get a good, play a good game of basketball right here is that if you can go ahead and focus on where the hoop is. You got the hoop right here from where you need to make that shot, just to be able to make the shot, right? And so what exactly is it that the coach is necessarily looking for? Well, the coach, like we says, that the coach could also be looking for anything in particular, such as toward, yeah, for how well you play the game, how well you play this, the sport of basketball. And so the way I think about too, that whenever you do think about the game of basketball, though, that you're also going to be thinking about, okay, yeah, that that's where the basket is right there. That's where the basket is. Go ahead and try to make that shot right there, from where the hoop is. And so really, that whenever you think of the game of basketball right here, and you're 102, that that seems to be a real simple, shot right there. When we're talking about, trying to make that shot right there, and you're 102, that, yeah, that if you take a real close look right there at the basket in 102, that, hey, do you think that you'll be able to make that shot? And maybe if you're going to be competing against other players, for sure, in 102, that, there's only one ball, and then there's two baskets. There's two baskets. There's a basket on this side and the basket on the other side, right? And so that's why it seems like if you're going to go and get on a team, then you would use the basket right here. So like everybody might say that if you would actually design a logo, something like this right here, and you're thinking as toward, okay, yeah, you got a logo right here. They usually on the right side, that you would put a basket right there on the right side, compared to the left side. It's like, yeah, if you're going to be playing against a certain team, and then that's usually where the basket goes. And so really, that it's like, yeah, so you got right there is the basket right there, but people might say that, if you're going to be playing the game of basketball, and you want to know too that, yeah, if you were to take a good look at a view of that basket right there and thinking is toward, okay, yeah, that you're trying to make a shot right there in the basket right there. And let's just say that, yeah, that your coach is going to say that, one way to get a good shot in the basket right there is just to focus on where the basket is, and then of course, it's like it's all about is to where to get a good aim at the basket right there. But still, it's like when we do talk about professional, talent right here, what exactly is the coach necessarily looking for? And you're probably thinking is that, well, the coach is maybe looking for a lot of things, and one of those opportunities that things would be is toward it for how well you play the sport. And And we all probably think is toward, okay, yeah, for how well you play the sport in general. But if we're talking about with the basketball here, that, yeah, you bounce the ball a couple of times, but like everybody says toward, yeah, you bounce the ball, but you're supposed to make a good aim right there at the basket right there. You take a good aim right there at the hoop right there, so that way you can go ahead and make that shot right there. And so how far do you think that would be whenever it comes to trying to make the shot at the game of basketball? It's like, it looks like to me that's at least 30 feet right there. So if we're talking about 30 feet right there, and want to know too that, yeah, do you think that you'll be able to do that? Do you think that you'll be able to make that shot? And so like a lot of coaches would probably say that yeah, in order to be able to play the game of basketball for sure, that you would think that, okay, yeah, that go ahead and show them, you would get a good aim of the basket right there, and then you go ahead and make that shot right there. Just to be able to make the shot, you would make a good aim at the basket right there. So really, Mike, really, how many of us will probably say that if you're going to be playing a game of basketball, what the source of what was the best way of how you played actually? Was it about the fact about, how well that you knew your other, teammates, your players? Or was it about the fact about how well that you were able to interact with the ball right here? Because, like, yeah, you get the ball right there and you bounce the ball right there, but, you probably thinking that what you would need to do in order to play the game of basketball is to try to make the shot right there. And see if I can show everybody here that, yeah. Try to make the shot right there with the basketball, but you're thinking that, okay, yeah, all you have to do is, and people might say that, yeah, well, it's quite a bit harder than what it looks, but, still. That on the other hand, that when we're talking about the game of basketball here, we're talking about is that that when we talk about basketball here, I'm going to see if I can go ahead and use the mixer, yeah. But anyway, yeah, you got the basketball right there, and I'm like, yeah, trying to paint that, but so yeah, you got the basketball right here, but still, that for how well you play the sport, right, and other players might even say too that the way you play the sport will be is to where you're supposed to get a good aim at the basket right there. And tell you one thing, that whenever you do look at the basketball just like that, and you're thinking that yeah, you take a good aim at the basketball right there, and you're thinking as toward, okay, for how well that you handle the ball, and then compared to all the other players, would probably say that yeah, you need to know how to play the game right, for sure. But still. So you got the basketball right there, and you're thinking that, yeah, let me see if I can go ahead and paint more of that in right here. But yep, okay, there we are. Yeah, sort of, kind of, right? Yeah, that sort of kind of looks like a basketball. Like, yeah. But see here. Everybody might say that, yeah, for sure, that if you're trying to describe a basketball for sure, and you're thinking that, okay, yeah, you're going to go ahead and tell your teammate that, you need to bounce the ball. Go ahead and bounce the ball a couple times just to get a good feeling of it. Just know, how well that I'm like, yeah. So it sure seems that way that when we do speak of the game of basketball here, that you're warranted toward, okay, yeah, that in order to be able to play the sport for sure, that do you need to get a good aim of where the basket is, so that way you can be able to make that shot, or like everybody else might describe as to where you got to get a good feeling of the ball first, and then go ahead and make the shot. And so yeah, so it sure seems that way that each time you do think about that, and you're 102, that you think of the game of basketball, and you're warranted toward it. You got the ball right there, but then of course it's like that yeah, you got the ball right there. You got the basketball right there, but still, that whenever you first played, though, it sure seems that way, that, yeah, it's all about, the main purpose about the game of basketball would be is as toward it, you go ahead and yeah, you get on a team of with five other players, right? But you're warned to where that where does the talent come from? Especially, like everybody say that, whenever you have your teammates there that you're going to be playing, other teammates that you're going to be playing with, right? And you're thinking that that they see something that you're good at. They see something that the team needs that you can do. And let's just say that if one of those things, of course, is going to be is to try to make the basket right there. And so yeah, so it's like you have a coach that's going to ask you to play the game of basketball right there, and yeah, they're going to ask you to please dribble the ball a couple of times, so that way I'm like, yeah, but for your other players, so they can see how well you play. And yeah, so it's like so when we do speak about that, and at the time you're 102, that yeah, if you're going to be playing against a girl or somebody like 102, that whenever you do play a game of basketball, that what's the first thing that's going to come to your mind whenever you first start playing? And you're thinking is toward, okay, yeah, that, do you think that you'll be able to make the basket right there? And so yeah, so you're going to be playing against another player, and or if you do play on a team of 4 other players, and thinking as toward it, do you think that you'll be able to make that basket right there? Go ahead and dribble the basketball a couple of times. And I can go ahead and paint a shadow right here, like at the basketball board. I'm like, yeah, right here, got the basketball right here. So yeah, for any NFL plays and all that, so it's like, yeah. So whenever you think about that, then you're warranted toward that, if you were to play the game of basketball, that they're going to ask you to please make a good aim right there at the basket right there. You see the basket right there, and try to get a good aim at the basket right there. So really, that does that really look very simple to do? And like everybody else would say, is toward it. You get a good aim at the basket right there, but a lot of times, it's like there's been a couple of times that you were not able to make a shot or two just because of what reason? Well, a lot of times everybody else would say that it's all about is toward having good aim at the basket, from where the ball is going to be going, and then knowing about that if you're trying to make the shot in the basket right there. And then I'm like, yeah. So you have right here, yeah, the basket, you go ahead and paint right there, but still. So if you're trying to show somebody, of how to be able to make the basket right there, you got the basket right there, but, do we all necessarily think as to where that when we think about the game of basketball, is that, yeah, even though if the hoop is nearly 40 feet or so away from where you're standing that you can, really, I guess it's the whole challenge about the game of basketball would be is this tour that you would try to make the shot, you try to dribble the ball and make the shot, but then like everybody might say that you don't really have to be nearly 40 feet away from the basket. You just got to know how to, be able to make a, so whenever you do play the game of basketball for sure, and I'll even tell everybody if you want to go ahead and maybe paint some arrows so that way you can show everybody what you're talking about. But make a good aim right there. A good aim right there at the basket. Yeah, do you think that you'll be able to do that? And so whenever we do speak about basketball a lot of times, and you're one or two that when you first start playing the game of basketball, that somebody says that you bounce the ball and then you go ahead and try to make that shot right over there, and try to make it into the basket, and so it sure seems that way that whenever you do think about that, and you're one or two that do you think that you could do that? And like a lot of coaches might even say that that's really, is that really what they're looking for right there? Is waiting to know about that you don't have to be 40 feet away from the basket, but you try to make the shot, because the basket, probably it stands at about up to 5 feet, or it may be 10 feet, something like that, 10 feet high. And so a lot of the coaches are going to ask you that, do you think that you'll be able to make that shot right there? So it sure seems that way that, whenever you do think about that, and you're 102, that do you think that you'll be able to do that? And so it kind of puts you up to the challenge, right? So whenever you do play the game of basketball right there, and especially, if it's your first time playing, that it's like, that the first thing that comes to your mind is that, do you think that you would be able to make that shot right there? And you got right here is a teammate right here. So like, anybody that you're going to be playing with, right? And let's just say they're going to be talking to you and saying this toward it, hey, if you want to play along with me and, play the game of basketball, and, it's like, this is how you play right here. That, you dribble the ball, you dribble the ball, and then you try to make that shot right over there. And so if you get dressed in your workout uniform, right, and then you would actually, they would show you where the basket is. The basket would be at about right here, and they would ask you to go ahead and stand right here and see if you could go ahead and make that shot right there. So, I thought I'd go ahead and show everybody here this right here, because it's like the way I played the sport a lot of times, it sure seems that way. That what sorts of talent do you think that the coach or other players are looking for whenever it comes to professional talent? And everybody would say that what they really are looking for is actually toward how well you get to know the players, but then also that how well for how you handle the ball and all of that. But everybody might say that that the way you pass the ball between each player, and also how well you dribble the ball, because like they say is that I put that shadow in there just like that, just because of the fact that everybody might say, is that shadow really supposed to prove that the ball is supposed to be bouncing while you're moving? People might say, is the ball really supposed to be dribbling while you're moving? Is that considered a foul? Whenever you do, if you hold the ball in your hand while you're running, and but still. So talking about for professional talent right here. So it's basically about something that you're good at, right? It's something that you're good at that the team needs, and so that's basically what professional talent is, right? So that's why it seems like that, to where that whenever we do speak about basketball, that the first thing that's going to come to your mind whenever you do think about basketball is that do you think that you'll be able to do that? You got the ball right there. You go and bounce the ball and see if you can go ahead and make that shot right there. And so whenever you do think about basketball, you might think as to that you think that you'll be able to make that shot, and you're supposed to you try to get it into the basket right there. But anyway, I thought I'd go ahead and show everybody that right there. I talk about for professional talent.